He said to me, he goes, Matt, she misses my hugs. She misses my hugs. That's what she always says. And
I
that's
do that every night. I do that every night. I rock. I said, I missed you, sweetheart.
Emily, where are you from?
From Virginia, Williamsburg.
All right, perfect. I'm glad that you're here. And who's this with you?
My mother.
Perfect. So first of all, I got to tell you, there's a couple souls that I'm hearing from. First of all, your father passed. Know that he's here.
Oh, wow.
And you know what's really weird? All right, there's a cat that's here that died.
Sucks.
And your father's going to be mad. The freaking cat's here. I'm weirded out. The cat's here.
The cat ended up living with my mom's twin.
Yeah,
but like it was our cat originally.
Father's going like this. Why is the cat in heaven?
He didn't like her.
He's going to be just like he goes, why is the cat in heaven? Why is the I'm telling him in my head, I go, how the hell do I know? I'm not God. Don't ask me. You're with God. Ask God how do I know how the cat's in heaven. No, I'm just a psychic medium. And first of all, I have to tell you, this man was so tough here in this world. He keeps saying, Matt, he goes, I got to tell you something. He goes, I'm so glad that I got the years that I did, because he tells me he was supposed to pass years earlier.
He always told us that he would. And we're like, no, you're not. Stop
talking about it. I used to yell at him. I used to say, why are you saying this to me? He said, I have dreams that I'm going to die. And I'm like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
He tells me, he says, Matt, he goes, those dreams changed his life, because he tells me that when he was alive here in this world, he felt like he was on borrowed time. He tells me when I'm speaking to him that everyone in his family died young. He says, so do you know that I just felt that same thing? Wow. So that was your husband?
Yes, my husband, 30 years.
So know that, first of all, because he just leaned over, I just saw him hugging you when I'm connecting with you.
I hug him every night, up in bed. I rock.
She'll say, I feel him, or I feel like a touch.
I have like a sense too. Like I could feel him around me. And I was in the hospital in July. I had to have a pacemaker put in because my heart stopped. And I felt him in
the OR in the room.
I felt his hand come right across my face.
He said to me, he goes, Matt, she misses my hugs. She misses my hugs. That's what she always says. And that's
I do that every night. I rock. I said, I missed you, sweetheart.
He said, this is how your loved ones get me to say certain things. You know, when I saw him, he showed me him with his arms around you. So when you rock and you hug him every night, that's his way of letting you know that he feels that. And more importantly, he wants to thank you for all of that love that you gave him, and that you continue to give him here and now. He says to me this, he says, Matt, he goes, those two were the most important people in my life. He says, my family. And do you know that one of the things that he wants to acknowledge to you is that he is having such a fun time watching over everything that you're doing in heaven? He tells me that you're supposed to be going on some road trips. There's road trips.
We're going to Florida.
We're going to Florida.
He says to me, Matt, he says, tell them to enjoy the trips. He says, I'm going to be with them on the trips. He says, these were things that we were supposed to do together, but I'm so happy to see her doing these things right here and now.
Yeah, definitely.
He goes, because you need to tell my wife one thing. He says, you need to tell her that I'm not dead. I'm different. He tells me. And he says to me, I don't want you to change your life just because I died. Because he tells me that even after all this time that he passed, you still say, who the hell am I going to cook for? I got no one to cook for.
I look over here because this is where he used to sit. I look over there. I'm like, I don't have anybody to cook for.
He says to me, listen, he goes, tell her to cut this shit. He goes, tell her to, I still want her to cook. I still want her to make things. He says, and I still want her to live her life as though I'm still a part of it.
Awesome.
It's because I am. But you know what has been so amazing of what your husband tells me is seeing this right here. Seeing the connection that you and your daughter have been having with one another since the time that he had passed. I gotta tell you something, all right? Don't get mad at me because I'm just the messenger. But your father is telling me that him and you were very close, closer than you and your mom.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of talks before he passed away.
Yeah,
him and
listen, it does, and that doesn't mean that you don't love your mother. That's so not true. But we all have a different bond. Like, for example, I'm closer with my mom than I am with my dad because my mom shares my ability. So it's not that I don't love my dad. I love them equally the same. But I've always had a closer bond with my mom for that reason. And he tells me that you and him have always had a very close bond.
Yeah. So he adopted me. I'm my mom's first marriage.
Yeah.
So he stepped in as my father when I was young. I was like,
no wonder why. So you've always felt that special connection.
He's been my father.
Bonded. That's crazy, because he says to me, Matt, I've had all these years with her. I enjoyed her in every which way possible. He says, and now he says, I feel like I get to watch her recreate a connection with her and her mom.
My sister and my nephews stay here. We all kind of rally around mom and take care of her.
So know that he's so happy to see this. He says, because I've had my connections. He's had his connections with you. He's had his connections with his daughter. And now he says to me, I get to see this new connection, this new relationship. He says that he's so happy about that. He says, so Matt, he says, please let them know, don't don't be sad. He says, I got my time. I had my time with all of you. I had so much love. I am safe and at peace, and my soul is always there and with you.
I wanted to say one thing that I wasn't there when he passed. It was in 2020 when the COVID, and I couldn't go up there, and he passed on his own, and I was here, and I got the phone call, and anyway, I've always felt like a guilt.
She felt guilty for not being there.
His wife, I wasn't there for him.
He doesn't feel that at all. So listen, this is what happens, and this is called grief. Grief is when we think something that our loved ones don't think. We think our loved one is mad at us. We think that our loved one is pissed at us. We think about this. We think about that. And you know, grief is a terrible, terrible thing, because grief comes in. And what grief does is grief erases all the good memories of our loved ones. Like you said, you were married with your husband 30, I think, right? Mm-hmm. You had 30 beautiful years, but yet all you can think about is the day he died. And it's like all those other memories. This is why your husband's here. Do you notice what he talks about? He doesn't care about the day that he died.
Right.
To him, that's not important. What's important was him getting to adopt you as his daughter, getting to know you as his daughter, getting to be there with you in your relationship, the time that you spent together. That's what's so important. And what's even more important is him letting you know right here and right now that the moment that this event ends, that your husband doesn't stay here with me, thank God. He goes home with you. And this is his way of validating that when this event ends, he's there with you. He is safe and at peace and by your side.
Yes.
I feel him.
I'm going to leave you with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.